Here we are. This is Tracey Armstrong again with Rabbi Daniel Lapin. So excited to hear what he's going to share with us today. If you will grab a piece of paper and a pen, or your iPad or your iPhone, or your any kind of communication device where you can take notes, record this, whatever you need to do, mark it, subscribe to it. Just make sure that you have access to this over and over so that you can capture the information and really make it a part of your life. He's sharing concepts that are not just that's thought provoking, but they're concepts that are life changing. And if you want to become successful, I think he is an amazing communicator and teacher of success. And so again, with me, let's welcome Rabbi Daniel Lapin.
Thank you very much indeed, Pastor Tracey. You set the bar high, but yes, I do think the goal is to enable people to improve,
Yes.
in the most basic terms, improve their income, improve
Yes.
their revenue, and you know that I love boating in the Pacific Northwest,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, as soon as the days start lengthening and summer starts approaching, it's, British Columbia, here come the Lapins.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things about boating in British Columbia is that there's an enormous amount of tidal change.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water that has to flow between islands, and the result is that there are certain passages there where the water flows very fast.
Okay.
When I say very fast, maybe 8-9 miles an hour. Now, when your boat is only traveling at 7 miles an hour, the difference between going forwards or backwards is whether you're with the current. So
Okay.
if your boat's 7 miles an hour and you've got a 9-knot current against you, you're going 2 miles an hour backwards.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so timing and going with the current is really important,
Very
because if you go with the current, it's 9 miles an hour in the right direction plus 7 miles an hour on you're doing 16 miles an hour, which in boating terms is like Formula One racing. I mean, this is really good. So going with the current is really important. So what we've got to ask ourselves is, what is the current when it comes to making money? You can go against it, or you can go with it.
Excellent.
And it's just like that with other things. Think about health.
Yeah.
You want health, you may as well find out what the current is.
Yes.
The current is not cigarettes, alcohol,
Right.
and candy. That is really not the current for good health.
Right.
Okay, what is the current for good health? Well, I don't know exactly, but
It's not that. We know
it's not that, exactly right. But and the closer you can go with that current of good, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
Similarly, when it comes to money, you've got to kind of know. And so really the fundamental question to ask is, what is God's plan
Good.
for human economic interaction? That'll give you a good idea of what the current is.
Yes.
What does God have in mind? Now, a lot of people say, oh, he couldn't care less.
Yes.
And that would not appear to be correct at all.
Right.
Because it's perfectly obvious that if you look at the various systems there are for organizing human beings, if God didn't care at all, then they'd all have about the same results. They'd all have
Right.
the same likelihood of success.
Right.
How many different ways are there of organizing human beings? Well, one of them is not organizing them at all, just have total chaos. And there's some parts of the world tragically where that happens,
Yeah.
and a lot of people die, and not a lot of people live well.
Right.
Those who do are a small group of bandits and chieftains who kill and exploit, and it's not a really enviable way to live. It's going to be tough to persuade people to even vacation in places like that.
Yeah.
Another way to organize it is tribal, right? Large parts of the Arabic world and parts of Africa operate tribally. Look, I mean, let's be candid. They're not exactly economic powerhouses.
Right.
They don't do that well.
Yes.
If it were not for oil, the Arab world would not be doing particularly well.
Right. It's something that's feeding them.
Exactly.
Without organization.
Yeah, it's like the greatest welfare system in the world. Drill for some more money under the desert. But it's not a system that has produced great wealth.
Right.
A third system is a system that seduces the hearts of men again and again and again in every epoch all the way back to the Tower of Babel. We saw it in the French Revolution, we saw it in many other revolutions, we've seen it in China, we've seen it in Cuba, we've seen it in the Soviet Union, and this is essentially a centralized control system, which in its ultimate form turns people into slaves.
Okay.
Now, obviously, a lot of people are okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't rise up and rebel. Partially, it's very tough to do that.
Yeah.
But essentially, that's what it is. Now, whether it's the Soviet Union or Cuba, these people are essentially slaves.
Yeah.
They can own very little. They have to work, and they are given what the bosses want them to have.
Yes.
That's how
Yeah.
that works. It's certainly not a system that appears to be blessed. And the fourth way is a system of free market freedom. Okay, now, a lot of people say, well, you know, God certainly can't like that system because it's based on greed and God doesn't want us to be greedy. Well, that would be a lie.
Yeah.
Because if that were true, then then a business would take your money by force.
That's
and when
true.
I last checked, that was called government. Right? That's who takes your money by force.
That's true.
It's called taxes.
It's very true.
But the only way a business gets your money is if they give you something in return that you value more than the price of whatever it is the business is giving you.
Yeah.
And when I jump in an Uber car, I don't hurl bolts of hatred at the driver for taking my money.
Right.
I'm grateful to him
thank
for showing
you.
up.
Thank you. Yes.
You know, when I buy a bottle of aspirin, okay, I'm not mad at the Bayer company for stealing my money by force. I'm grateful to them.
Yeah. The service they provide.
And a lot of people don't understand that. You know, I mean, I had somebody working for me a little while back doing some work on my garden, and when I asked him how much I owe him, he was very uncomfortable.
Okay.
Because he had been conditioned to believe that he was taking my money.
Yeah. Now I've seen that. I've seen that quite often. People are afraid to set the bar on what they really think that their work is based upon the value of it.
That's exactly it. So this is a system whereby God blesses us with the incredible blessing of financial abundance for doing what? Nothing other than trying to please his other children.
Oh, that's excellent.
And they won't give us their money unless we please them.
Right.
That's what God smiles at.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of lies and a lot of slander aimed at the free market system by people who are trying to undermine it, either deliberately or through ignorance. The reality is that it's a really wonderful system in the sense that people can do their own attempt. People can go as far as they want in trying to provide for other human beings. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. And generally speaking, people who are opposed to that free market system are people who, one way or another, are trying to find a way to live on the sweat of other people's brows.
Oh, wow.
And so if you're trying to get away, find a system for the government to give you money, then you probably won't like the free market system.
Yeah.
But the only way the government can give you money is to take it from someone else.
Yes.
The government has no way of creating money. Money comes into being, and this is another very important lesson that we talk about in Business Secrets from the Bible.
Yeah.
You've got to know what money is.
Yes. Excellent.
And if you don't understand, and we teach in this, you eventually get to understand that money is something which is brought into existence when one human being serves another human being.
That's excellent.
Money is not brought into existence when the government turns a crank and prints another $100 bills. Those only are a reflection of the money that was created when one human being served another.
Yeah.
And if they turn that crank too far and they make more $100 bills or more dollar bills or more $50 bills than is an accurate echo of what human beings in that society and that economic system have done for one another, the result is something called inflation, which is bad for everybody.
Yes. That's good.
Except government.
Right. because that's how they get their money.
Because they are able, through inflation, they can raise taxes without losing elections.
Yes.
And you see it all around you. There is no housewife who hasn't noticed that over the last 10 years, the size of packages in the supermarket have gone down. They found it was harder and harder to raise prices, so they did the next best thing. They gave you less for your money.
Yeah.
That's called inflation.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of the best
That's interesting.
indications
That's
that we have
interesting.
inflation. And so once you realize that money is brought into existence by you doing things for other people, then the spirit with which you embark on that is different. The ability you have to name your price is different. And at the same time, you're making God smile because you are pleasing other human beings. So this is part of riding with the current instead
excellent.
of trying to fight
That's
the
excellent.
current.
And with your boating analogy, if I am 7 knots?
Yes.
And the current is 9, then I'm 16.
You're going with it, you're traveling
so
with
I'm actually
16.
moving with more velocity. I'm moving faster if I'm going with the current.
Oh, it's you're racing along. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you understand God's way, God's plan, and His plan is for me to serve. So as you're sharing, there's a couple of things. I've heard you're teaching several different teachings. The teaching on bread, right? I'm not. You mentioned not living under the sweat of someone else's brow.
Yes.
What does that have to do? Kind of talk a little bit more about that, living under someone else's sweat.
Well, this happens all the time. I mean, where there are constant attempts in almost any society, but I'm speaking now particularly about the United States of America. It's true elsewhere also, where there are attempts to create a moral framework to legitimize me taking your money. And so there are a lot of ways of doing it. One of the best is to say that the rich must pay their fair share. You've heard that expression a lot. But nobody will define what rich is, because tomorrow they want you to be rich in terms of their definition.
Right.
Or how much is fair.
Yeah.
Those are things that are not defined at all.
Yeah.
And so another time they might say that social responsibility. That's a great phrase.
Yes. Sounds great.
But what it really means is that there's another bunch of fingers in your wallet. And so, look, is there an obligation for me to be charitable and for me to give to other people? Absolutely, yes. But there's no obligation for me to make the government the middleman and to pick up some of it on the way.
Right. So when God, I heard you talk about making bread.
Yes.
The whole Exodus or being expelled out of the garden. Can you just touch a little bit about the making bread in this circumstance of the current?
Well, yeah, sure, because there's a reason that bread is a metaphor for money.
Yeah.
People recognize that even in slang language it's understood, and that is because in order to make bread, you need two things. First of all, you need to be able to postpone gratification.
Okay.
You need to be able to look to the future, not just the present.
That's it.
And one of the most destructive life philosophies that our culture has inculcated, particularly in young males, is live for the present.
Right.
And live for the present is unbelievably destructive, because to make money, you've got to be able to think ahead.
Yeah.
Here's what my customer might want. I will extend credit. Yesterday, the market was terrific for buggy whips, but today the market is a little bit better for apps.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to learn a little bit about how to code rather than making wagon wheels.
Yeah.
So being able to look to the future is bread-like, because it's not good enough to start planting wheat when you feel like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You needed to have done that yesterday. And the second thing that bread involves is cooperation.
Yeah.
One person can't grow the wheat and harvest it and mill it into flour and bake it. That's a lot of different skills.
A lot of work, yeah.
And when all those people work together, it means that I can get some bread.
Yeah.
And so once again, making money is rooted in cooperation between people.
Yeah, that's excellent. And that's the current that God wants you to go on.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, in today with the internet, I can sit at home. I don't need anyone else. I can sit at home and make money. Yes, you do. You need people at the other end of the internet buying whatever it is you're selling.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's all it is. It's just another way of talking to people. Nothing's changed.
Yeah. Yeah, just a different form of communication.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I say that that God's system is the system based on freedom, because it brings people together. Socialism drives people apart because everyone's trying to take everyone else's, and people don't trust one another. Over here, in a system of free market cooperation, we're all trying to find ways to help one another. That's why a lot of people are antagonistic towards advertising.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, it just tends to generate consumerism and greed. That suggests that you're the only smart person in the whole world. Everybody else is dumb and is easily manipulated by advertising.
Yeah.
And we're not. We like advertising because it tells us the different ways in which our fellow human beings are finding methods to improve our lives and give us things. Now, I don't necessarily want everything that's advertised, but I like knowing what other people are preparing for my convenience or pleasure or health or benefit.
You know, what I love about this, the idea of finding the current and going with it, finding the current that God, you know, based upon God's principles, based upon the 40 principles that are found in Business Secrets from the Bible, is that it's always current. It's never out of date. It's never based upon a fad. It's never based upon whether the internet is here or the internet is not here. It's all based upon principles that are universal.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of aspects to the hospitality industry, providing a place for travelers to sleep, a place to hold events, food and beverage. All of these things, you think to yourself, oh, this is, 20th century, 21st century cutting edge stuff. It isn't. Moses and his wife and his son traveled and they came to a hotel.
Yeah.
There's always been hotels because there's always been travel. People need a place to stay while they're on the road. Now, yesterday's hotels obviously didn't look like today's hotels any more than a camel doesn't look like a Cadillac. Right. But they are both essentially transport. And if you understand these biblical principles about the hospitality industry or about the transport business, the principles apply in all times, in all places, and you can deploy these to be more useful to your fellow human beings, which means you're earning more money.
That's excellent. That's excellent. I love the understanding of that, and I think it's very important for people to feel okay with setting a value that I need to actually contribute in such a way that more money would come.
Well, it's very important because it has to do with getting a job. A lot of people are looking for jobs, right? Yeah. If you understand what we've just been talking about together, the way you go into a job interview is totally different.
Yes.
I mean, some people go into job interviews, and I've seen this happen, by the way. People go into job interviews, and the first thing out of their mouths is, could you tell me what the benefits and vacation package is? Okay, that's a real good way not to get... And then afterwards you say, I guess it was bigotry. They didn't like bald people, whatever it was. Yeah. No, it's that they don't want to hire somebody who's thinking about himself.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
That's true. Someone that wants to serve and contribute is
exactly right.
That's excellent. Well, it's been wonderful to meet with you again, to talk with you, and to discuss the principles of the Bible and the
Well, I admire the work you've done in bringing leadership and business principles to so many people, because that's really improving people's lives and changing people's lives in a very positive and very meaningful kind of a way. So God bless your work. I regard it truly as holy work.
Thank you. And I love doing it and partnering with you and Susan, and we really appreciate you. We really have high regard for you.
Thank you so much. Well, I look forward to chances for us to do it together again.
Thank you. I want to call attention to a couple more products before we go away. There's another product called Boost Your Income. You want to make sure you go to RabbiDanielLapin.com and you look for the different products. And this is a great product. I have this, Boost Your Income, and this is 3 spiritual steps to success. If you're looking for success, you wouldn't be watching this if you weren't looking for success. And then there's Prosperity Power, Connect for Success. And again, you can go to RabbiDanielLapin.com and get that information, along with the 2 books. There's the first session we had was we talked about one of the keys of the 40, and I'm assuming that the current is that also in here.
Sure.
Business secrets from the Bible, spiritual success strategies. There is not enough in my mind content information out in the world that talks about how the Bible wants you to be successful.
And because a lot of people are made awkward by it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the important questions I ask every group that I teach is, hands up here, who wants to make more money? And people are really uncomfortable answering that.
Yes.
Because they've been trained, indoctrinated to believe that means they're greedy.
Right. It's morally wrong to
It's
want
morally
more
wrong
money.
to want more money,
Yeah.
you know? And the answer is, what you are really saying is, who wants more opportunities to serve their fellow human being? Me,
Yeah,
I
please.
do.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I think the one of the extremely potent books and books of influence to help you prosper is Thou Shalt Prosper. It's like a command. It's a command to prosper.
It is
And I
because
just love it.
the world is a better place when people are prospering.
Yes.
Who could possibly argue with that?
Well, if you notice, if you go into an area where people are not prospering, there's more crime, there's more hate, there's more division. I mean, we want
terrible.
prosperity.
Yeah. And when people are prospering, it means they are interacting with one another.
Yeah.
And it's not an accident that in America, when people walk out of a store, very often the storekeeper says, "Have a nice day."
Yeah.
When you walk out of any kind of store, if you're lucky enough to find what you want in a socialist country, you do not get "Have a nice day" because he couldn't care less.
Right. It doesn't care about.
But here, I really care about my customer.
Yeah.
I care about my employees.
Yeah. That's outstanding. So Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments for Making Money. And I love how everything has the biblical pattern. Everything has the what I call the Hebrew mind that is very important.
Yes.
And I believe that we should have more education on success, on wealth, on money, on increase from Rabbi Daniel Lapin and Susan. So I want to encourage you to go to RabbiDanielLapin.com. And again, if you're an organization leader, if you lead an organization, if you lead a business, if you're starting a business, there's principles that you need to capture even before just getting started. And I think the paradigm shift in the mindset that is talked about and written in these books and products, you need to get them. So go to RabbiDanielLapin.com. And if you own an organization, you have a sales team, you have a team that you want to just bring that next level of enthusiasm and energy to, I want to put my hand up and nominate Rabbi Daniel Lapin to come in and to teach and to share principles that will take your team and your organization to the next level. Until next time, this is Tracey Armstrong along with Rabbi Daniel Lapin, and thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe, go to TraceyArmstrong.com, continue to follow us, and look into the Academy of Influence, and you'll be happy that you connected with us. We'll look forward to seeing you next time.